Good evening, everyone.
Is that good?
Hello and welcome. If you would all please stand. Please now turn your attention to our flag for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Remain standing for our national anthem. Our singer tonight is one of RHS's mentors, Mrs. Danette Menny.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bomb's
Thank you, Jeanette. That was so beautiful. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Krista Fons, and I am the program director at Renaissance High School. I am pleased to welcome everyone to the class of 2019's graduation ceremony. This particular group of students have overcome much to reach this goal. Several students lost major supporters along the way. Jordan's grandfather, John Matthew O'Day, was frequently at RHS, and Jordan always said he was graduating for his grandfather. Naomi, who we will all hear from later, had a father that I considered an inspirational speaker. I had an opportunity to listen to an encouraging conversation between Mr. Eric Christopher Newton and his daughter in my office on more than one occasion. As we remember Jordan's grandfather and Naomi's father, there may be others who may no longer be with us physically. They are here with us now and are so very proud. This room is filled with many more supporters, parents, grandparents, siblings, guardians, loved ones, friends, neighbors, and your mentors. I'm sure there are others who may not be here but are in our thoughts and hearts. I would like to ask all of those special people to stand now so the graduates can take a moment to applaud and honor you. Renaissance staff, will you please stand now? I know that each graduate here today has a close relationship with one or more of you. I know that this is a day that each of us has dreamed of for this group of special graduates. Graduates, please help me to show appreciation for this wonderful staff. We also have many distinguished guests here tonight that I would like to acknowledge. From our Clarkson Board of Education, Elizabeth Egan, President. Kelly Horst, Vice President. Gregory Need, Treasurer. Steve Heyer, Secretary. Stephanie Crane, Trustee. Andrea Catalina, Trustee. Cheryl McGinnis, Trustee. And of course, our Superintendent of Clarkson Community Schools, Mr. Sean Ryan. And you all see my special friend and someone that is your biggest cheerleader, Mr. John Acton, our mentor and teacher leader. Board President, Mrs. Elizabeth Egan, will now share some thoughts with the graduates and the audience.
Well, good evening, and on behalf of the Board of Education, welcome everyone. As President of the Board of Education, I am honored to congratulate the class of 2019 on your academic accomplishments. Our vision for Clarkson Community Schools students is that you will be well prepared for a future that excites you, and you believe you can achieve your dreams. Do you feel ready to achieve your dreams? Good, good. So I want you to look around you and notice the relatives, educators, neighbors, and peers that are here to celebrate with you today. This is your village. These are the people who have raised you and hope you achieve your dreams. As a board, we want you to be excited about your future, and very soon we will confer diplomas upon you and send you on your way. Your future is an adventure, which should be exciting and will bring change. Your journey forward today will test the shallow waters of all that you have learned thus far and pull you into the deep, strong current of your independence and quest for success. As you live your dreams, start every day with gratitude. Today and every day, hold dear the happy optimism you have right now. A thankful heart will be a positive effect on your well-being. Be thankful for the opportunities that you have and stay focused on your goals. Go through each day, accepting the good with the bad. Manage your relationships with care and the understanding that everyone is a messy combination of emotions and experiences just as you are. Remember, you are the only person with whom you will share your entire life. You are the only person who can make you who you are and change your course forward if you don't like where you're going. End every day with forgiveness, others and yourself. Walking through life accumulating anger, hate, jealousy, or grudges becomes a heavier and heavier burden to carry forward every day. Learn from mistakes, then let them go. The past will always be behind you and your future in front of you. Class of 2019, you are ready, and the world is ready for you. Go out there and turn your dreams into a better world. Dream big, come home to visit, remember that we love you, and have a happy life. It is my privilege to introduce to you the next speaker, who is our Superintendent, Mr. Sean Ryan.
You guys know what these are? You guys know what these are? You know who this guy is? This is my friend. He's done acting, for those of you guys who don't know him. And he's in the middle of my speech. If you know anything about the year last year or anything about my speeches, I like to write them down and then I don't look at them. I kind of go through emotion and how I'm feeling and I try to translate it and act. Because tonight is one of the biggest nights. You have to see this, right? I'm going to be quick, not that quick. This is one of my favorite nights, and you should know I don't like standing behind podiums. That this is my second speech of the day, and earlier for the Teacher of the Year, I really kind of stunk it up. I don't know if you can start worse, is I misintroduced my bosses. So if you could think that is so wrong in so many different levels, it is. But the great thing about life, right, grads, is a lot of times, and for our crowd tonight, you get second chances. And this is my second chance tonight, and I appreciate it. And like I said, this is my favorite night of the year because a lot of times you see success in life as just an endpoint, but I look at the crowd here, I look at our grads, and I know that they struggled to get to where they are here tonight. I respect that because some of us go through entire lifetimes worth of struggle and don't feel even an ounce of what these grads went through tonight. I believe that, Mr. Acton believes that, our school board and principal believe that. And we know it's not where you end up a lot of times, but it's how you get there. And tonight, as I was thinking some comments, I get a lot of things rolling in my mind. And I was making connections because you might not know this, but another facet of me, not only as the tall guy, I think I heard that in the hallways here this year, is that I'm a history geek. And I've been reading, this sounds random, but I'm going to make a really cool connection to it, about the paratroopers in the Army. I became fascinated with them recently because, do you guys know you have one of your grads that left in December named Josh Cottrell? Yeah, well, he graduated from basic infantry school. You know what he's going to be doing this summer? Take a hint, paratroopers. Jumping out of planes, thank you. He's joining the airborne. And that's really cool on a couple levels because, as Mr. Acton and I were talking about, if you knew this or not, this is the 75th anniversary of D-Day this year. You guys know that? The invasion, the turning point of World War II. A lot of guys jumped out of airplanes into France as part of that invasion. It was a big deal. And also, what was rolling in my head is next week, Mr. Heyer and I, for some really crazy reason, are going to join the Army for a day next Tuesday, and we're going to jump out of a plane with them. I'm very, just so you know, I can't speak for him because he's a NASCAR junkie and a complete adrenaline fool. But for me, I'm scared of heights. And I can't ride. I'm one of those people, I have to drive. I can't be in the backseat of a car. You talk about roller coasters and stuff, forget about it. But for me to understand something big like this, all these ideas between Josh, us jumping out of a plane, the 75th anniversary of D-Day, I decided to read a little bit about it in my free time. I relaxed by reading military history, right? Anybody out there with me? There's at least one, too. Okay, excellent. So I'm doing a little comparison reading as I'm learning a little bit more. This is about the 101st Airborne during World War II. And the first things I come across is that they only jumped from 1,200 feet. Mr. Heyer and I are going from 13,000. Yeah, it's 13,000. I looked it up. And I thought, gosh, why do we have to go so far, so high? And then I came to that realization as, does it really matter? If you're jumping from a 13-story building versus higher, the only difference I could see was that when the troops did it at combat, they were below the clouds, and that Mr. Heyer and I are going to be above the clouds, which is not the only difference. I'm not going to take anything away from those troopers who went into D-Day or Josh when he does his combat jumps. Those guys did it into the dark, right? There was that little detail that people were shooting at them at the time. And when they landed, they were automatically behind enemy territory, with people trying to kill them. I mean, talk about stress. And as a leader, I look for days and things that inspire me. Where do I get my energy from? And I wonder how people have that oomph, that spirit to take things to the next level. You know, what causes a person to want to jump out of a plane in the dark into combat? And as I read about these guys, they lined up in a thing called a stick, which is their grouping to go out the door. And as they go out, they yell, this group did, Kurhi! Can you hear that in the back? You guys got that? Kurhi, that's their battle cry. And where do they get that? They got that in school, because in their airborne school, they had to do lots of different physical challenges in addition to learning how to jump out of a plane. And part of that was they had to go up this 3-mile hill every day, up and down, and the hill was called Kurhi. That's all they knew about it. And at the end of their training, they had to go up this hill in full combat gear, which is probably, I think, close to 70 pounds. And back in our grandfather's days, I think most of the guys weighed about 140 pounds themselves. And the only way they made it is by pushing each other, carrying each other, yelling at each other, whatever they needed to do to make it up and back. And when they did, they got to the bottom that last day, and every one of them qualified and completed it under the time, their commanding officer said, you know, Kurhi's the hill. Do you know what it means? And they all looked at each other in this book. See, I'm trying to tell the story here. Nobody knew. And when their commanding officer said, it means we stand alone together. That's heavy. We stand alone together. And the first time I read that, I thought, you know what, that sounds like double talk. How can you stand alone and be together at the same time? But in fact, what they were saying is, and that translated into their battle cry, right? It gave them that courage when they were together in the middle of the night to jump out of a plane into combat. And they were thinking, they were doing it, yeah, they were patriotic, and they were doing their duty, but number one, they were doing it for each other. And when they said that they stood alone but together, they were meaning they were drawing courage off of each other. They were all scared. They didn't know if they could do it, but they weren't going to let the next guy down. And that their brothers, their friends, the people surrounding them drew the courage and strength from them too. And I thought that was huge. It made a big impact because you know what? It made me think of you. It made me think that none of us really do it in life alone. And that whether we're jumping out of a plane or just crossing the stage tonight, we're going on to the military, college, trade school, you guys are all making a jump that you don't know what it's going to be like, and it's scary. But you've made it this far with the people in this room. You've made it here with your own strength and grit. I'm inspired by that. And I find elements and stories, and you guys might think I'm crazy, but I see it each and every day, and it gives me the energy to do what I need to do. Because that's not even all I saw this week. You know what else I saw this week that inspired me, related to standing together? Is whether the crowd knows it or not, RHS has done an amazing project, I guess I'm not going to need these, at the board office in Clarkson. They created a nature center, nature walk, exploratory, for little kids to be able to enjoy. How many people know about this? You guys know that they created this? Make some noise, guys, if you are big in this. Last fall, when they got done with it, I saw an amazing pride in the staff at RHS, the students that had done it, and I saw joy on the faces of the early childhood 3, 4, and 5-year-olds that came to appreciate it. It was awesome. As superintendent, I looked out my window, I was like, yeah, that's why I'm in it. Winter occurred, and the team here went out to see, winter happens, you need to kind of refresh things for spring. And unfortunately found that a massive amount of vandalism had been done. We're not talking about tipping over a post or a sign. They were digging things out of the ground. It was ugly. And you know what I didn't hear from RHS? The grads here, their classmates, or the staff? Well, I guess that's just it. We'll take it. The world is evil. Everything is against us, and I guess that's just the way it is. No, sir. What I heard from the crew here was, how are we going to bring it back up? What do we have to do? Not one of us is going to be able to fix the damage here, but all of us together can share the burden and get it done. You too, Mr. Ryan, we need you to write a big check. All right? That's okay, because you know what? It takes all of us, even us check writers, to make the world go round. But the moral of the story is, again, who's going to stand with you? Who can you count on? And it's not about doing it on your own. Inspiring. Again, this was 2 days ago. And then yesterday, the last part, my inspiration from the week. Mr. Acton, who yesterday morning was at a awards or a grant awarding with the Optimist. We have the Optimist. Make some noise over here at Optimist Group. Thank you. Believe it or not, it wasn't starting out to be one of my best mornings. Truth be told, I was about 25 minutes late to the presentation. I woke up, my daughter couldn't get out of bed. I tried to make her a bagel, cream cheese that morning. I burnt the heck out of it. Anybody feel that way some mornings where it's just not going right? I guess I'm the only one. That's okay. I'll take that. But I got up, and instead of just saying, you know what, I'm just not going to do it, I got my daughter to school, a little late, and then I zoomed over there. And if you're a superintendent, you learn how to sneak into events, bam, without being caught. Miss Monet, did I pull it off yesterday? I did, thank you. I made it right before they did introductions and the grants. It was perfect. And I was feeling that sense of anxiety, like I had come in late and I was not in place. Everybody feels that way some days. And I was like, oh gosh, how am I going to make it through today? Then this man took the stage at the Optimist breakfast, and this is community business leaders, this is everybody that's big in Clarkston is part of this group. And Mr. Acton was there to petition, to look for money, resources, and everything for RHS. I didn't even know he was doing it. He wanted to improve the lot. But he didn't simply stop there. He delivered one of the most inspiring speeches off the cuff, as he called himself, was it a frail old man? You're the farthest thing from a frail old man, sir, that I've ever come across. You are a badass. You are. That's the other thing about people standing with you. Sometimes you don't even know that they're standing with you. And that's not just Mr. Acton, but that's in life. This man loves RHS. He bleeds it. He delivered a top-notch description of everything going on at RHS, the passion of the people, the commitment, and where everybody needs to come up. He told the story, how he met everybody, and he even brought these 2 buddy benches, which I stole from the Optimist Club. You guys can get them back tonight. With a different kind of wood, he compared young people like you to this awesome, fresh, unblemished piece. Ready? Wait for it. And then he linked the rest of us, and we know who we are in the crowd, and it's okay. Full of knots, and it's worn. from a lifetime of service, but you know, at the end of the day, it still works, right? We can still sit on it and hope it doesn't break, and it didn't. But people like John Acton and others, when we talk about who stands for you and what do you stand for, it's guys like this, people like this, and the love that they bring that make the difference. So I'll end by kind of just giving you a couple pieces, and Mr. Acton has to give, do you have your envelope? He wanted to present, and I said, hey, why don't you just do it in the middle of my speech? He did get that grant from the Optimist. He's going to tell it to Ms. Fonz if you could come over and get it. So, sir, you do that. I'm going to catch up with my speech.
Thank you.
How much is it for? You got to tell them how much money it is.
Right to the numbers, right? $2,500, all to benefit RHS.
Say something. We need to rehearse this.
Well, now, class of 2019, you're all decked up in your splendor. You're well fed. You've brought with you your loved ones and friends. This lady, your beloved principal, has assembled your dedicated and talented staff. And this learned school board and your superintendent. They're going to call your name, present you a diploma. When they do, be as proud of your name as I am of mine. What is my name? John. And yours is Ruby and Michael and Sarah and on and on. Names that I've tried to learn. You came to Renaissance High School, sometimes under duress and ready for struggles, and you made it a better school. You're going to get a diploma, and I want you to go out into the world and make it a better world. If you fail, if you struggle, if these holes and knots in my healing bench get in your way, I want you to return to the people who loved you at Renaissance, or in this district, or seated out here. Let them help you. I also would like you to come to Renaissance High School if you don't have one of my benches. They're in the lobby there. Also on the entryway lobby counter is a canister into which you've been putting 26 cents and $100 bills and more since September 24. You raised between $2,000 and $3,000 on your own to rescue yourselves. These folks, the Optimists, heard about you. They agreed to match it. And I already have, from an anonymous individual, another match in September. That's what you need to do. If you want really to take a few minutes in your life, sit down on your bench, close your eyes, go back through some warm memories of Renaissance High School, and know that there you were loved, that there you had an opportunity, and there you were accepted as you were. See that shirt? See where the Renaissance word is? Have heart. That's where it is.
We're taking this show on the road, buddy. So it is. It's about that hope, that love, what you feel. It's special here. And I encourage you, if you don't like your story, change it. You got the gift of time. You got people behind you. And I want to end, and I'm going a little slightly over, I apologize, is if I could get everyone to stand up together right now. This is fun. I thought about this in his mind. I don't know if it's going to be as cool as it was in my head. And I'm going to count to 3. On 3, I want you guys to yell at the top of your lungs. Not like, but, I want you to yell, Curhi, Curhi, when I hit 3, okay? For everybody. 1, 2, 3, Curhi! That was cool. Hey, you guys can sit down. Just remember that, right? You stand alone, but we stand together, all right? I love you guys. I believe in you all. And I'm so proud of each and every one of you guys. Thank you. Did I recover?
Mrs. Hall, I'm seeing a very beautiful mural in our hallways with Curhi throughout the middle of it as our slogan. That's so beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much, Mr. Acton, as well. Now we turn to our scholarship recipients. The Clarkson Coalition for Youth gives out 2 $500 scholarships, and today's recipients are Jade McGee and Monet Edwards. The scholarship from Waypoint Church will be presented by Pastor Chris Horvath and Bill Ballard.
What a journey. And graduates, we celebrate you today. At Waypoint, we count it an absolute privilege to walk with you in several different ways on this journey. We love the cider and donuts that we get to have together. We love the ice cream social we had recently. One of our favorite times of the year is our Thanksgiving feast with you. And yes, we do like food, but we especially love and care about each one of you. And so on behalf of the people of Waypoint Church, congratulations to all of you. And please know this, and always remember that you are loved. This year, we are proud to be able to present 2 scholarships as part of our mentor groups here at RHS. A special shout out and thanks to all of the mentors that help make this connection a huge success. So we are proud of all of you. And at this time, I would like to introduce the 2 winners of our 2019 Waypoint scholarships. That is Jason Jefferson and Patrick Harris. Would you guys come on up here? Congratulations, man. Congratulations. Hey, stay up here so we can talk about you, okay? Yeah. All right. For Jason, I'm reading, let's see, the mentors for this group are Bill Ballard and Keith Van Gore. And Keith is on staff at Calvary Lutheran Church and was not able to be here this evening. So I'm reading on behalf of Keith. And this is what Keith wrote for Jason. Often sitting in the corner of our table for the weekly Friday gang meeting on Thursday mornings, with a knowing smirk on his face and a keen intelligence behind his eyes, sits Jason Jefferson. I think about Jason often during the week, specifically when interacting with others. You see, he has a knack for paying close attention to what others are up to, and then sharing his delight with a laugh, a friendly jab, or a sincere response. My guess is that most of us need to be intentional about putting others before ourselves. Yet that quality seems to come naturally to Jason. A small handful of people from my life come to mind with that type of selfless quality, and each of them had a significant and positive influence on me. What an amazing gift we have seen in you, that you can elevate those around you simply by being yourself. One example of the confluence of Jason's personality traits is observed in how he plays video games. I know that seems weird, but stay with me for a moment. Most kids play video games. Many adults do as well, truth be told. Jason, however, does not just play video games, he coaches them, specifically Overwatch. If you're not familiar with this game, it is a team-based game with chess-like complexity. Chess is difficult enough to master, but add that to the coordination with 5 other teammates, and you have a game that is far more than a contest of reflexes, but a competition of wits and teamwork. To be at the level to coach others is impressive, but to be willing to do so is a testament to Jason's intelligence and his natural drive to elevate others. I was thrilled and not surprised to learn of his scholarship. It is well-deserved. Jason, may you continue to have an ever-increasing positive impact on those around you. I have no doubt you will. Your friend, Keith Van Gore.
And I get to say a few words about Patrick. What can be said about Patrick? As I got to know Patrick during these Thursday get-togethers, I realized what a special person he is. He has that soft chuckle, but that great smile. When you walk in and you see him smile, when I arrived, I almost always found him working on the computer, fixing and adjusting pictures, for you see, he is the photographer of the school, and for so many other activities. I would ask sometimes foolish questions, and he would always have the patience to answer me, for that group found out that as much as I have to use computers, it's something that I hate. It's the Antichrist in a box, and it's going to get me before it's done. So I get very frustrated with it. So he put up with all my questions and all my situations. And during that time, we would talk about family, school, our goals, our frustrations in life. But Patrick always seemed to have his eye on his goal to continue to develop his skills in film and photography. What a great talent he has. Patrick has always had something positive to say, often with a smile and that soft chuckle. I would bring donuts and cookies from Pete's oven, and guys would always seem to relax more while chewing a big chocolate chip cookie. This seemed Patrick's favorite, I might add. So it is with excitement, but not surprise, that Patrick has been chosen for this year's scholarship. I know you will continue to have a great impact on all those around you. And as you continue your journey, may God bless you and give you the patience and the guidance in all that you do.
Next, from Clarkson Rotary Club, we have Eric Yellowshan presenting.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm very pleased and honored to have the opportunity to present the Clarkson Rotary Club Awards tonight. In Rotary, we often have people and organizations come to us quite often to ask for money to help with projects. With the students at Renaissance High School, it has been just the opposite. They have helped us with our projects. One year they raised and contributed money to buy a water filter for an orphanage in Nepal. Another year they raised money to help us buy books for poor children in Pontiac. And yet another year they sold pizza and had a chair auction to sponsor Shelter Box, which is a Rotary project to help disaster victims around the world. They've also made a generous donation for our Shoes for Kids program that we do annually at Christmas time. And for 2 years, they raised money to help Rotary fulfill its promise to eradicate polio worldwide. So we at Clarkson Rotary feel a very close relationship to the students here at Renaissance. And this year, I'm pleased to say that we have 2 young people who have earned the Rotary Scholarship, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about them. The first recipient is described by one of her teachers as intelligent and thoughtful, a hard worker whose creativity sparks innovation in other students. The teacher went on to say that students like her are rare but incredibly important to creating a strong classroom environment. And it is my pleasure to award the first Rotary Scholarship to Monet Edwards. Would you come up, please? The second recipient is described as having faced some challenges but overcame them. She became very focused and was able not only to improve her life, but was also able to provide insights to others. This second scholarship goes to Jade McGee. Thank you very much.
Next, we have presenting for the Clarkston Area Optimist Club, Kathy Novak.
Thank you, Mrs. Fons. Well, good evening and hello, graduates. On behalf of a wonderful group of people, most of them, actually all of them, are the naughty, gnarly Barnwood stool, but they are a wonderful group of people who make up the Clarkston Area Optimist Club. And their core purpose is to champion the fantastic students and faculty in our community. So I am here to extend a very heartfelt and extremely joyful congratulations to Renaissance High School class of 2019. So I asked our club, is there anything that you'd like me to say to the graduates at commencements tonight? Well, that created this huge list, but don't worry, we narrowed it down to just 3 things. We want you to remember that your achievements will never be without reward. That our community, our beautiful community, will always open its arms and welcome you in. And immediately, the most important thing they asked me to tell you is that we're bringing Field Day again to Renaissance. It's next Wednesday morning. We're cooking lunch, celebrating all of you, and we hope all of you can come. So tonight, I have been given the very nice privilege to acknowledge and honor the achievements of one outstanding student. And this scholarship represents our support and our faith in you. And we hope that it will serve as a constant reminder to realize all of your goals with an optimistic spirit. This year's recipient of the Clarkson Area Optimist Club Senior Scholarship is gladly presented to Lauren Grace Link. Again, congratulations, graduates. Thank you.
Next to present the Hugh Rose Scholarship from Clarkson United Methodist Church is Ann Evans.
Good evening, and thank you, Ms. Fons. It's very humbling to be up here in front of all of you today. As a community, we're so incredibly proud of all of you. You've done an amazing job. The Hugh Rose Scholarship, I wanted to give you a little bit of background because it's the first time it's ever been presented. We had a very generous donation made to our church with some very specific criteria for giving out the scholarship. I am fortunate enough to be part of the committee that grants the scholarship, and I just wanted to let you know the conditions behind it. So the Hugh Rose family gave this wonderful donation to our church, and the purpose of this scholarship is to grant a non-traditional scholarship focusing on life-changing opportunities for eligible applicants. The purpose of this scholarship is to provide resources for the applicants to use to further their education, their career skills, and fulfill a dream not currently within their means. So, as you are jumping to seek your dreams, I am proud to announce that each and every one of you will receive a $300 scholarship to fulfill your dreams in whatever area you choose. And I will be in the back when you're getting your diplomas. I have a folder for you for that scholarship. And I just want to say that with God's guidance, you are the masters of your future, and you can do it. Congratulations.
Clarkson Community Church would like to award their $500 scholarship to Jesse Brenner. If I could call up Lauren Link and Guadalupe Esteban Rosas up, please. As you come to the stage, I'm going to talk a little bit about your scholarship. So Oakland Community College awards 2 full years tuition paid, all-inclusive scholarship for 2 Renaissance students achieving at a high GPA and academic level. And this year, the awardees are Guadalupe and Lauren Link. Our program now turns to our featured staff speaker. This staff member is unique. I went around the building today asking other staff about her, and I thought it best for the one who knew her the best to introduce her now.
Congratulations, class of 2019. I'm coming to you from St. Petersburg. I wish I could be there. Unfortunately, my obligations at Tampa Catholic don't wrap up until tomorrow, but I just wanted to send a quick message congratulating all of you, especially you, Stephen Pastiner. You made it. It is my privilege to introduce this year's speaker to the class of 2019. She is a great friend. She's almost like a sister to me. We went into battle many times in that highly competitive co-ed soccer league in Novi, Michigan. So without further ado, Miss K.
I know, that was really surprising. By the way, speaking of that soccer league, I definitely bruised a rib the last year, and I stopped playing. So hello, everyone. Congrats, grads. It's so cool to be up here. When Mrs. Fonz said, hey, Kay, you should do a speech, I heard her say high school graduation speech. But in my mind, I actually heard, and oh no. I accidentally heard her, and instead of high school graduation speech, I did zombie evacuation speech. And then I realized, and you guys all know, right? Like, you're all nodding your heads. I teach a horror movie class too. Like, I'm into this kind of stuff. None of these kids are surprised. But as I was thinking about it, I did all this work for this zombie survival guide, and I was like, wait a minute, why don't I just save some time and cross out some words, and let's make this work. And I found some parallels between surviving life outside of high school, graduating, and surviving a zombie apocalypse. They're surprisingly similar. So I am giving you a list of skills that you will use in the real world and the zombie apocalypse. Now, the real world is about to happen in however long it takes for the rest of this, and you walk out the doors. That is the real world out there. And the zombie apocalypse, though, that could start at any moment. All right, that would have been really interesting if it had at just that moment. And I made a note for myself, leave space for attack, and it just didn't happen. So I'm glad, but it didn't happen. So here's this list of skills that I've compiled. Oh, but first, real quick, congrats. Thank you. It's time to run into your future. But don't run from it. Run from zombies, but don't run from your future. That's going to happen regardless. So here is your list of skills. And interestingly enough, when taking these pictures, I could not get Miss Martin to not smile. So if you're ever in an instance where there is a zombie attack, this is going to be her face, and she might be horrified, but that's her face. It's not bad. I'll take it. It's a lot more interesting. But skill number 1, accept reality. This is the real world. The real world that everybody's told you about since you were a little kid. You know, the one where, hey, Jesse, you can't turn in stuff late when you're an adult. No, they're not going to care about it. You know? You know, the real world where they don't care if you were up all night playing video games. And I could say that to 8 of you. They don't care, because if you're late to work, you'll get fired. This is that real world outside those doors. And you need to pay attention to what's going on around you, because you have to accept this change. You can't continue doing what you were doing in high school. There's gonna be a change. It's pretty inevitable. Pay attention to what's going on around you. If you notice Miss P there, that is a zombie hand going for her. She wasn't paying attention, she was on the phone. So in your run-of-the-mill zombie movie, there's always somebody who doesn't believe that it's happening. And they're always like, no, that's not a real thing, it's something else. Those people get eaten first. I want you to know that if you understand that this is happening, that your entire life is gonna change once you walk through these doors, it's easier, it's safer, you survive. Your next skill, gather your tools. What is in your toolbox? And I'm not talking about a toolbox like toolbox, though I will say you do need a regular toolbox. get one of those. You don't know when you're going to need a Phillips. Steve or Gary can help you pick one out. If you really cannot figure out what you need, I know they got toolboxes in their trucks, so just go ask them after this is all done. I'm talking about what skills you're already bringing to the table. What can you do that will be useful? Make sure you have that. And I mean, think about it. If you lose a tire, if your tire pops when you're being chased by like a million zombies, you're gonna be really grateful that you know how to change tires. Similarly, if it's 11 o'clock at night and you're coming home from a late shift, you're gonna be very glad you know how to change a tire and don't have to wait an hour for AAA to get to you. Figure out what skills you know and what skills you need to know, and figure them out. Also, learn how to do laundry. That was one I didn't learn till later. I added that in later. I wish someone told me how to do that. Speaking of learning and what you need to know, build your team. These people are going to help you build your skills. And you already have a really awesome team. This is your survival team. These are the people who are going to go the distance with you, right? They're helpers, they're supporters. They're the people that make you better. Who is a person that makes you a better person? You want that person in your group. If, say for example, you are running with someone away from zombies, just thought, you're running, you want that person next to you to run with you and carry you, not lean over, say ha ha, and trip you. Because there are people in life who are going to turn and trip you. They're going to love tripping you. There are going to be people who their idea of fun is watching you fall down. You do not need those people in your life. You need those people out of your life. You want that person who, when you fall, runs back and says, oh, hey, bro, I'm sorry about that. Let's keep running from these zombies. Those are the people you want in your life. You've been very lucky because RHS staff are the people who will carry you. I mean, they'll make fun of you, like, why did you trip and fall? There's zombies back there, dude. Hurry up. But we'll carry you the distance. Avoid people who trip you. There's going to be a lot of those in your life. You may have already encountered some. Don't hang out with them. Next. Skill number 4, make a plan. And that was not an emergency for that picture Mrs. Fons was posing. Think about it. You need to think ahead. What are you going to do next? Where should you go? Choose your doors wisely. So say, for example, there's 2 doors, and one door has like little hands coming out the outside, and there's growling, and there's terrible things, it sounds like, in there. Do you pick that door or the normal-looking door? Yeah, probably pick the normal-looking door. Don't go in the zombie room. That sounds terrible. Life is going to give you lots of doors and lots of rooms to go in. And sometimes the zombie room doesn't look like a zombie room. It looks perfectly normal. You have to think about the doors you're going to choose, or you're going to end up someplace really terrible. So choose your doors wisely. Stay a step ahead of yourself. Set some long-term goals. If you want to go to school, you got to set some plans to go to school. If you want to be a mechanic, you got to set some plans to be a mechanic. Think about where you're going and what you need to get there. And pack snacks. Feel free, grads, raise your hand if I've stolen food from you. Yeah, almost everybody. I almost hit all of you. Some of you, maybe you just didn't bring snacks in. I don't know. But food is very important. You need that. And finally, for our last skill, there it is. Always believe in yourself. You may think to yourself sometimes that there's no way you can endure or get past whatever obstacle is right in front of you. You might think, hey, there's a big pile of zombies right outside that door. I'm never going to get through that. But you will be so shocked by how strong you are. And sometimes it's the most unlikely of people who end up surviving the most terrible things, the most crazy obstacles. I know some of you guys have already overcome things I couldn't even imagine, but you did. You're very, very strong. So realize that you have a lot of fight left in you, but don't just believe that you're gonna do it. Don't just believe that you can overcome. Know that you're going to get out of there. Believe in yourself, but know yourself too. And in conclusion, oh, there we go, yes. In conclusion, I'd like you guys to avoid an ambling existence, a zombie-like existence where you go through life without really thinking, feeling, or caring about anything. No, I want you to thrive, not just survive. I want you to go out into the world and realize it's a wonderful, beautiful place. Don't be afraid of things. Try them. Go through doors. Realize you're going to make mistakes. Realize that you have your RHS staff here to help you. Be the hero of your own story. There's a quote on my wall that says, in my classroom, that says, "You are necessarily the hero of your own story." You be the savior for another person as well. Save yourself, but help somebody else. Be the hero that saves the group of survivors from the burning buildings surrounded by zombies. That's you. That's all you. I know you can do that. Realize that you're strong and you can do it no matter what. And you have us here to help you if you ever need it. So only you can stop the undead, and I crossed that out. And what I actually meant is live an awesome life, because I believe you can. So I'm expecting you to, after this speech, after you've sat through my survival guide, I expect you now to be able to fight zombies and live an awesome life. So thank you, and congrats, graduates, class of 2019. I don't want this.
I know, I'm sorry.
I don't know where that goes.
Our first student speaker today is Ruby Spencer.
Hello. I'm very, very nervous. I'm not sure where to begin, but I would like to start by saying thank you to the RHS staff for getting me this far. Without all of you telling me that I could do it and making time to help me with the things I've needed help with, I would not have made it to this stage today. I am so grateful I found a school like Renaissance. To me, RHS was a second home. Everyone treated me like family, and they made learning fun. And I was invited to take part in a lot of activities. The RHS staff taught me a lot about life, and they taught me that being myself was most important. What we as a class of 2019 learned at Renaissance will go further than high school. Believe me when I say that any teacher or staff member from Renaissance truly does care about every student and their futures. They helped us back up when we fell. They went out of their way to give us guidance and love. No matter what type of day they were having, they still put a smile on their face, hugged us, and helped us with whatever it was we needed help with. They took a lot of crap from students. Sometimes they were disrespected and torn down, but they still kept smiles on their faces and continued their days for all of us. I love Renaissance, and I would go back 1,000,000 times over again if I could. But I am finished, and all I can do is visit. I'm going to miss Renaissance, but I will always be a part of the RHS family, and that's the best thing. I also want to congratulate my fellow graduates. You did it. You all graduated high school. I hope you take this diploma and go far in life. I hope you all become everything you dreamed of being, because I know people told me I'd never graduate, and I knew I wanted to. I am now standing here on this stage, so I know you can be whatever you put your mind to. Finally, I wanted to thank my dad for never giving up on me as a daughter, as a student, or as a mother. Dad, you have always been there for me. You are my best friend, and I know you will always be by my side through everything. I appreciate you. Also, thank you to my mom. You may not always be there, but you try as much as you can, and I appreciate that. Thank you to Mrs. Fons and Mrs. Youngerman for all the love, the support, and the guidance. If it wasn't for you guys and the long conversations telling me that I needed to graduate and how important it was, I would not be standing here right now. Finally, thank you, Elijah and Anna, for making me want this diploma even more. Because of you guys, I want a successful life. I'm going to miss high school, but there is an end to everything someday, and I am grateful for the opportunities and experiences I had at RHS. Congratulations to the class of 2019.
Our next speaker is Jade McGee.
I could only do this speech with Ms. Hallman next to me, so. 2019 has been the most challenging yet rewarding year. Standing here today brings me so much joy and positivity for my future to be an EMT. On February 14th, I became a young mother to a beautiful little girl. Having a child changed a lot about me personally and my outlook on life. And I realized how important school and my education truly is. Having a baby in high school was never my intention, but my daughter helped me become a very better version of myself. She is one of the main reasons I am here today. The second reason I'm here today is because I promised my Nana that I would graduate for her. She would reply by saying, "Do it for your baby girl." Sadly, my Nana passed away in September, but I couldn't break my promise to her. She always called me her little sunshine, but now I'm living in her sunlight. I would also love to say thank you to my mom for molding me into the person I am today, and my dad for showing me the love that he did. I'm very blessed for having the family that I do. I appreciate the staff at Renaissance High School, and especially the teachers for always helping me no matter how much attitude and sass I threw at them. Renaissance is by far the best school I've attended. Finally, I want to thank Mrs. Hallman for helping me out so much to make sure I stood in this very spot today. She is retiring this year and helped me this year and in the school in so many ways. On behalf of all the students and staff at Renaissance High School, I think it is safe to say that we are going to miss Mrs. Hallman very much. She has been the rock for many students, including myself, and is very loved by the staff. If it was not for her, I would not be standing here giving this speech today. She helped me stay focused, positive, and pushed me to do my best. And because of this, I will now hold a diploma. You will always be welcomed with open arms anywhere you go because of your laughter, smile, and kind heart.
We have 2 more speakers. Our next is Naomi Newton.
Good afternoon, class of 2019, and thank you to all the friends and family that came out today to celebrate this hardworking, graduating class into the next chapter of our life. I'm standing here today to share my journey and challenges that got me to where I am today, but to also express my gratitude to all the people along the way that made this seem impossible, the possible. Our education starts the minute we are born, but we all start school in preschool or kindergarten. As we continue to grow up, we learn what is right and what is wrong. We make friends and we lose friends. We make choices and sometimes they can turn into mistakes. But what makes us who we are is how we choose to live and learn from our mistakes, but most importantly, not let them define us. I, like many, went through grade school, made great friends, made lasting memories, but also faced the cruel world of ignorance. Being biracial in a small town, I lost my father in 2015 to an unrelenting world of pancreatic cancer in stage 4. I made choices that took me longer to get where I am today, and I became a mother at the age of 19 to my beautiful daughter, Zoe Maple Newton. While all these challenges and emotional battles I was faced with could have become my story, and I could have chosen to let them define my life, but instead I chose to rise above them. I can stand here and tell you every little thing I have been through, but this is not the point today. I do want to share just a few experiences that I hope will illustrate my challenges that became my strengths. After graduating from JFIT private school, I was faced with the choice to continue to live with my mom and go to Elmont High School, or to go live with my father and finish Clarkson High School. I chose to live with my father and made choices that ultimately made it difficult to finish school. After no longer being able to continue at Clarkson High School, I was faced with the opportunity to go to the Michigan Youth Challenge Academy, a 6-month boot camp program, and it turned my life around. And most importantly, my father. If it wasn't for my father calling me at the NYCA and telling me not to get my GED, but instead take the extra mile and get my diploma, I wouldn't be here today. I was able to graduate from the NYCA, and I was ready to take on the world of high school again. And yet a year later, I lost my father, and I felt like my whole world came crashing down on me. But through all that turmoil, grief, and trauma, I chose to overcome the overwhelming darkness, use the strength and the wisdom my father instilled in me, and follow through with the promise I made not just to him, but to myself, and back to Renaissance High School to obtain my diploma. I called the Renaissance High School and talked to Mrs. Fons, our principal, who knew my struggle and hardships and saw something I had yet to see in myself, and gave me the opportunity to graduate with class of 2019. Before I leave here today, I want to thank Ms. Fons and the teachers of Renaissance High School. You guys are awesome. You are awesome. That helped me through my journey. I want to thank my incredible grandparents, Pamela and Bob Brenner, who opened their doors to me with my daughter without hesitation. And I could never express enough gratitude. I'd like to thank my amazing sister, Haley Newton, who helped me take care of my daughter, Zoe, and set so much of her own life aside to help my daughter grow into who she is, and my shoulder to lean on when I felt I lost my way. Also, my aunt and uncle, Jeff and Laurel, who have always been there for me, and whenever I needed help. I knew I could count on you guys, not just with Zoe, but through my entire life. You have never failed to help me You've never failed to help me through. I would like to thank my sister Brittany Newton, who has always been my role model and helped me see things differently, even when I didn't want to see them in myself. I would also like to thank my stepfather, Gregory Nemec, who has always helped me see right from wrong, and even when sometimes I didn't deserve it, you were always there to help me and stand back up. Lastly, I would like to thank my mother, Kimberly Nemec, Because if it wasn't for your strength and your wisdom and your kind heart and strong mind, I wouldn't be the person I am today and see the world the way I do with so much light and positivity. If it wasn't for all you believing in me and giving me a second chance at achieving this accomplishment in my life, I wouldn't be able to stand here with the class of 2019 to share that our challenges and struggles we face in life are nothing but a test of our strength and character. Life is all about our choices and how we let them define us. We get to choose the path we take in life, and I chose to stand here today with the graduating class of 2019 and wish all you the best in this next chapter we embark on. I hope leaving here today that no matter what, you never forget that you are the creator of your own story and never let anyone take that from you. Set your goals high and never settle for less. Sugarland said it best. When the walls fall around you, when your hope has turned to dust, let the sound of love surround you that beats like a heart in each of us. Won't you stand up? Congratulations, class of 2019, we made it.
Our final student speaker tonight is Jake Rawlings.
Mine's crumpled, so. All right, hi everyone. I'm Jake Rawlings. I've been a student at Renaissance for 6 years, so it's safe to say I've been there a while, a little longer than most. However, with the help of my wonderful teachers and the support of my family and friends, I got to where I stand before you today. My story isn't an easy one, and I don't imagine it will proceed to get less difficult. But this is one stepping stone I have conquered with hard work and dedication. 6 years ago, I walked through the doors of RHS. But my journey really started when I was in 8th grade, in this building actually, so I guess I've come full circle. I missed a lot of days of the last trimester in 8th grade, so I didn't end up receiving credit for it. And at the time, I had been in many advanced classes and passed them just fine when I didn't miss a lot of school. So my mom ended up going to Miss Pambid, the former RHS principal, as she had with my brother and my sister, and I got enrolled into Renaissance where I wouldn't have to redo those classes. I have many fond memories of my time at RHS, and I'd like to share a few of them. I learned how to play guitar in Dr. Edick's creative writing class. That was awesome. I know at the time everyone was frustrated hearing the loud guitar twangs throughout the halls, but I really enjoyed it. I remember running half of Denver's classes with my extensive knowledge of history. I'll miss the discussions we had on prior politics and new. I'll miss Miss Baker, or should I say Miss Cook now, or Mrs. Cook, rather, criticizing me for using pens instead of pencils in math class. I'd always retort that I wasn't making mistakes, they were learning opportunities. I miss the turkey dinners that the church threw for us around Thanksgiving. Those were the bomb. I miss walking through the hallways and hearing Miss P shouting, "Kuklos," to me, which is Greek for handsome. And I'd always respond with, "Hi, ya," which is Greek for grandmother, but she'd let that one slide eventually. We're Greek, so it doesn't matter. I'll miss Miss Tudor laughing at all the good jokes I told her, and I'll miss all of the wacky discussions and interesting real-world topics of Miss K's class. But most of all, I'll miss my RHS family. I grew up in front of you guys, and you always believed in me, especially Mrs. Fons. Where are you? Right here? Oh, okay, I was just making sure. Okay. But let me keep coming back and always believe when the time came, I really could do it. The reason it took me longer than some to graduate is because of the theme of me missing school continued for a long time after 8th grade, even at Renaissance. I mean, to cut it short, I didn't like school. I know most people don't, but I really didn't like school. I always felt I could prove my knowledge on a test and forego the whole going to class thing, which is kind of ironic because I went back to school for 2 years instead of getting my GED.
I was always a bit of a socially anxious kid. I hadn't really learned a lot of social skills yet, when I was younger. So being around other people was kind of hard for me. I just hadn't really learned to be myself yet. And I did pretty well at Renaissance for a couple of years, and I just kind of gave up. I don't remember what it was, honestly, but I ended up missing about a year and a half of school because I just stopped going. I sat at home for a while, then worked here and there, not full-time or anything. But it taught me something. I learned a valuable lesson during that time. If I wanted something, I would have to work towards it. I had nothing in particular. That I wanted at that time. I had ideas. I wanted a house. I wanted a car, a boat maybe, a cabin up north, Kate Upton as my wife. Realistic things. But in all seriousness, I didn't have a license, a car, and I hadn't graduated. This is when I was 18. Those 3 goals took me about 2 years to complete. So I ended up getting my license, a truck, and going back to school by the end of 2017. So I said that's pretty good. And now in May of 2019, I am graduating. I went through a lot of hardship during my time in high school, and I have my mom to thank for helping me get through it. We've always been a team, through family loss, through helping me grow as a person, and through financial trouble. I really have to thank her the most for this. She stood by my side. I'd also like to thank my sister Kelsey for helping me achieve the goal of getting my license and always being there if I needed to talk to her. I would like to thank my brother Anthony for always believing in me and supporting me in anything that I do. And I'd like to thank Mrs. Youngerman, my counselor. She helped me a lot to actually get my diploma and convinced me to do my online classes. And finally, I'd like to thank everyone at Renaissance for believing in me all this time. It took a while, but I did it, and I got my diploma. Congratulations, everyone in the class of 2019.
Okay, graduates, now is the time. We will confer diplomas. Reading the names tonight is the student's counselor, Mrs. Stacy Youngerman.
Monica Nicole Adams Trevino. Elizabeth Alicia Bohr. Tiffany Marie Batorf. Jesse Lee Brenner. Cody Matthew Bruce. Charlene Fawn Cathcart. Joshua Ray Contreras, who is proudly serving our U.S. Army. Juan Jesus Davila. Monet Arlissa Edwards. Guadalupe Sebastian Esteban Rosas. Ernest Cornelius Gray. Patrick Anthony Harris, Jr. Kayla Marie Holmes. Gary Edward Hummel III. Jason Muhammad Jefferson, Jr. Brandy Mae Johnson. Lauren Grace Link. Jade Leanne McGee. Sarah Elizabeth Molina. Angel Star Moon. Naomi Annabelle Newton. Stephen Maxwell Pastiner. Maya Adele Rose Pelshaw. Jordan Christopher Pinuski. Jake Alexander Rawlings. Theodore Andrew Reed. Jordan Tracy Smith. Lamar Anthony Smith IV. Ruby Ann Spencer. Justin Deshaun Stevens. Brennis Valentine. And Frederick John Van Cleek.
Congratulations to the class of 2019. As graduates, you may now move your tassel to the left side of your mortarboard. Audience, let me now introduce you to the 2019 Renaissance High School graduates. as our ceremony concludes, I would like to thank all of you for attending, and we would like to invite you to join us in the hallway for refreshments after the recessional. Can you please play the recessional for the graduates to walk out to, please? Stay seated, please, audience, as the graduates recess. There we go.